Welcome, my friends, back to Beyond the Well, where forgotten histories and untold legends awaken. I never expected to find that well, hidden deep in the woods behind my house. But when I touched its sacred water, I saw more than my own reflection. I saw another world. A world shaped by light and shadow, by heroes and tyrants, by choices that still echo through time. Join me as I uncover the stories of Aldarion that lie beyond the well. The Ballad of Nalen, Myrris, Episode 3, The Song of Reconciliation. The high passes between Lovok and Meridian were quiet this time of year, save for the whistling winds that danced through the pines and the crunch of frost beneath travel-worn boots. Nalen moved like a shadow through the mountain trails. The weight of recent days that had pressed upon his shoulders was fading, like a bad dream. Gone was the boy chasing vengeance. What remained was something quieter, sharper, tempered. Since the dream, he had not spoken aloud. There had been no need. His mother's words echoed in his soul, and the memory of her light, the warmth in her eyes, the peace in her voice, held him fast. When anger arose, he remembered her touch. When bitterness whispered, he recalled her truth. And when despair crept in, he pressed his hand to the worn wood of his lute and breathed. The lute had come to him from a local luthier and was of excellent quality, even if it didn't have any of the fancy inlays or decoration. He recalled the memory of when the luthier had presented it to him. He had said, "This instrument is only a small part of what makes music beautiful. I can attest to the quality of the wood and the skill of my hand, but more importantly," and the luthier had come close and whispered in his ear, "I can tell you there is something more powerful in this instrument. It might not look it. I don't know how to put it into words. But it speaks to my heart, almost as if it were alive." Nalen thought that was pretty cool, and he was eager to play it. But the luthier had warned, "You must remember that it is through connection that you will make the most beautiful music. The lute can only provide you a way. My boy, listen. The music, the magic, is already in you." The memory warmed his heart. In the small tavern last night, he had thought to bring out his lute and play, but had held back. He had excuses. He was tired. He was hungry. And besides, if anyone needed comfort, it was him. Also, all the people hated him. If they found out who he was, they'd be sure to run him out. Why should he play for them? But as he thought about the luthier's words, he had a whole new line of thinking come into his head. Soon he found a small ridge that overlooked the valley split by a stream, and the sun, low in the sky, cast long golden lines over the land. Nalen set his pack down and sat cross-legged on the forest floor. For a moment he simply breathed. Then with great care he brought the lute to his lap. He strummed a few chords, adjusted the tuning pegs, and strummed once again. Then softly he began to play. Not a song he knew, but one that emerged from his fingertips like breath on glass. It was a song without words, born of memory, of hope, a prayer. The Nexus stirred. At first it was a whisper, a shimmer in the edges of his vision, a tingling in the air. Then it deepened. The trees around him stood still. The wind paused. Time bent. And from the strings of his lute, light began to rise. It danced like mist swirling about his hands, drawing warmth from the cold. And in that moment, Nalen felt it. Not the full current of the Nexus, but a thread, a small and simple connection. He knew he was not alone. For the first time since leaving home, he felt anchored, not to a place or a people, but to something far greater, to purpose. He played until the light faded from the sky and the night had settled in. He built a small fire, cradled by stones, and slept without fear. 2 days later, Nalen found the old man. It was near midday when he came upon a thin trail of smoke curling from a snow-laden bluff. He approached carefully, stepping around the frozen brush and careful not to startle whoever had lit the fire. As he reached the clearing, he saw him. An elderly man wrapped in wool and furs sat against the base of a tree, his hands trembling. His face was pale, lips cracked and cold with age. His eyes, though half-lidded, followed Nalen's approach. "I'd hoped someone might come," the man rasped. Nalen knelt beside him. "Are you hurt, sir?" The old man gave a small shake of the head. "No, just near the end. I knew it was coming. Just wanted to see the mountains one last time." Nalen offered him some water from his flask, and the man drank eagerly. His eyes cleared a bit. "What's your name?" Nalen asked. "Henrik," the man replied. "And yours?" "Nalen, my good sir." Henrik studied him for a long moment, and then gave a slow nod, as if affirming something only he could see. "You have the look of one who's lost much." "Aye, 'tis true," Nalen admitted. "But I think I'm beginning to find something, too." A faint smile cracked Henrik's lips. "Good. Hold on to that, Nalen." They spoke for a little time. Nalen tended the fire and shared a bit of dried meat and watched the man breathe. There was something incredibly peaceful in the stillness. A light snow began to fall gently around them. Then Henrik broke the silence. "Do you believe in forgiveness, Nalen?" Nalen looked up. I do. I have to. Even when the one who needs it most is yourself." Henrik's voice was quiet, barely more than a whisper. Nalen hesitated. Then, especially then. Henrik sighed. "I had a son, fierce boy, smart, too much like me for either of our good. We argued often over foolish things, Nalen, foolish. I wanted him to be like me, and he wanted to be, well, free. We fought, harsh words, I tell you, years of silence, neither of us reaching out to the other. Life moved on so fast, and I didn't see it at the time." A single tear slipped from the corner of his eyes. "And he was gone. Fever took him, and I never got to say I was wrong. Never got to say I was sorry." Nalen moved closer. "I think he knows." "Do you?" "Yes, that is my hope, old friend. I see you carry that love in your heart. It's as clear as the day to me. You'll see him again. He will know." Henrik's hand trembled as he reached for Nalen's. "Would you?" He motioned towards the lute. "Play for an old man, just a little." Nalen nodded. He took out the lute and began to strum. A low, mournful melody. Then, as if guided by something unseen, he began to sing, softly, in the old language taught to him in the temple schools of his youth. He did not know what words to use, but they came all the same, old and holy. And he played, and the Nexus stirred. "Sleep now, weary traveler, lay your burdens down. The road has been long, but peace has found your crown. The mountains keep your secret, the stars will know your name, and love will be your lantern in the dark, a steady flame. Go where the river meets the light, where sorrow fades and wings take flight. You are not lost, you are not gone. You're going home, you're going home. Your son waits by the water, where the willow bends and sways. He holds the words unspoken, the ones you meant to say. The silence is forgiven, the time no longer binds, for love remains unbroken by the turning of the pines. Go where the river meets the light, where sorrow fades and wings take flight. You are not lost, you are not gone. You're going home, you're going home." this world may hold your shell, the spirit sings where angels dwell, and songs you gave now carry on, in every dusk, in every dawn. So go where the river meets the light, where sorrow fades and wings take flight. You are not lost, you are not gone. You're going home, you're going home. A light shimmered around the dying man. Nalen's song lifted, wrapping the clearing in warmth. Then, just beyond the veil of sight, he saw it. A young man, maybe in his 20s, stepping from the trees. He walked over, his footsteps silent on the crusted ground, then knelt beside Henrik and took his hand. The old man's breath caught, and a smile spread across his face. "You came, my boy," he whispered. The boy nodded. Together they stood and turned. A tunnel of light opened in the forest, and hand in hand they stepped through. Henrik's body sagged, still and peaceful. He buried the man beneath a cairn of stones, then said a prayer and sat with the gratitude he felt, letting the peace he now felt flow through him. He felt centered. As he continued his walk north, he came to a ridge. The path ahead was still long and the road uncertain, but in his heart a fire burned steady, and he was no longer running. He was walking towards something, towards purpose, towards the will of Aldarion. And as he walked, the lute at his side, he hummed the song of the mountains, the song that reaches. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for coming with me beyond the well. If you enjoyed this story, please consider liking, following, or subscribing. And if you have a moment, I would love a review. Your feedback truly makes a difference. If you want to dive deeper into the well, visit beyondthewell.net for show notes, transcripts, maps, character descriptions, and much, much more. And until next time, keep seeking, keep dreaming, and keep telling your story. Bye.